I'm not a drag queen. I'm a gender illusionist. I prefer to be called a gender illusionist. I confuse rather than outrage, I think. It's a different kind of man to do what I do, you know. I mean, everyone's got their fears and everyone's got the boundaries they put up for themselves, not just what society puts up for them now. Most part of it, people just try to sort of like figure out whether I'm a he or a she. It's always been people looking in amazement and wondering. Men generally feel more affectionate towards women. And because in a strange way I'm perceived, the whole mystique, my whole thing, is not about looking like a man in a dress, but looking like a woman. I think they find it easier to communicate with me on that level.
I don't go through all these big deceptions and all that nonsense. You know, I don't hide it. In fact, I think everybody out there thinks of me as male, whether I'm dressed up or not. I use the name Winston. It's just Winston, and what can a Winston be? You know, there's ambidextrous names like Terry's and Lee's, but what is a Winston?
I got frustrated at seeing people who can look, women especially, who can look very, very beautiful, just look nondescript, if you know what I mean. Wrong shoes, wrong handbag, wrong dress, wrong hair. And I think I did it from that point of view.
I don't think I've changed drastically, I've just changed gradually. You know, I've developed more sort of like sophisticated, well, I was always quite sophisticated, but I've developed a much more sort of like, you know, newer, fresher style, which, you know, I really had to create a style for myself, because in most of those things everyone does, they emulate famous women and famous old Hollywood movie stars now, because being black and a black person is like, I couldn't possibly emulate Marilyn Monroe. I could, but I mean, I don't think for me it's right to emulate Marilyn Monroe or even Marlene Dietrich, and I love those people. You know, I just had to basically find someone to emulate, i.e. me.
I'm impulsive. I'm a Scorpio, so therefore I'm very impulsive. It doesn't, things with me doesn't take like sitting down and mapping out. I don't map out anything. I didn't map out that, you know, in 10 years' time I want to be, you know, rich and famous and living in a big country house or anything like that. It may happen, it may not. I don't map out my life. I just, you know, take things one step at a time, one day at a time, and 1 minute at a time even sometimes, because I just think about something and do it. I don't, you know, sit down and think, well, oh, next week I'm going to put on a frock, so I've got to buy a pair of shoes now, and do, you know, an occasion arises and I decide this is how I want to go to this particular thing, and that's how I go. Everyone wants to see before and after, but I like to chop it a bit in the middle. These days it's been censored. You see the before and you see the after, but you don't see the in between. I don't like to watch me getting actually dressed. It's boring. You should think that I've disappeared, and while I was upstairs someone else swapped. You know, it's like a sex swap en route. We're going to number 128. John, this is the only place to get hats.
Is that right?
Yes, it is. The only place to get hats.
You know how much these are? They're like, you know, £200 for a metre. It just goes like hair. They're sort of like peacock feathers. But I've never understood what part of the peacock they are.
Yeah.
I've always been involved with and in tune with colorful people. You know, so I've never actually looked at any of my friends and said, you know, oh, you're a square dresser. They've always been I've always experienced colorful people. You know, and to each his own.
Hi, honey.
Well, I've known Michael and Glinda for a number of years.
In Clubland Society, and they realized there was a void in London's disco society that needed a club like this, Kinky Galinky, and I think they also realized that they obviously had enough faith in me and trust to think that I could do the job like that. Henceforth, the position was offered to me.
Can we take it from the top again, please?
And that's where it started for me. Well, now I'm the in-house MC, which is a job I absolutely adore doing. I think it's nice because you get an awful lot of exposure, good exposure, I must admit. It's been very good on this scale of fame and fortunes for me. I mean, everyone seems to think that you earn an awful lot of money doing something like this. I don't. You know, I do it out of pure love. It's just, you know, it's like waking up to do a job like this is much better than having to wake up and go and stand and sweep the streets or anything.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Jocelyn.
Okay. Hi, Winston.
Hello, Winston. This is James.
Hi, James.
And Rory.
Hi, Rory.
Hi, Winston.
How are you?
This is your studio.
Hi.
This is your background.
Is this my studio?
This is it.
Finished.
No, I know. We're working on it.
I hope I'm not too late.
No, you're fine. No problem.
Same idea. This is change.
For normal jobs, for example, people like to they prefer to hire a white person because, you know, they feel, you know, most people don't want to broaden their horizons and they want to work with what they know, you know, to be a fact, and that's it. In some respects, you know, to be any color outside of being Caucasian and not being catered for specifically is something that, you know, upsets lots of people, and it's not in their interest and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, it's got a lot to do with education as well, because if you're an educated person, you can make those things work for you.
I think people just pigeonhole you to sort of like make themselves feel safe. So they can say, right, you're here, you're there, you're that, you're black, you're white, you're yellow. So they can make themselves feel safer about you because they think they know you.
You know, I mean, they're beginning to accept. Just think about the days when, at first, when older English people didn't know how to react to black people when they first came to England and stuff like that. And look at the way they behave now.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Keep going. Move forward. Yeah, that's it. Lean in. Yes.
Yeah, I don't copy women. It's just, you know, it's one's perception of a woman. If you perceive a woman as being, You know, I've always been around elegant, elegant, very feminine women, and therefore that's my perception of women, you know.
Yeah. And it's got the red cuffs.
I want to live in America.
Spanish again. We do that one then.
If you perceive a woman as being very strong and very butch and very masculine, that's exactly how if that's what you're used to, that's how you put it over. I'm not, my mother, my sister, most of my female relatives are, very sort of like elegant women, feminine women. So it's what I'm used to. It's not like, I'm trying to do something that I know nothing about. Or I just stumbled upon it and done it. Like, if you're used to that also, that's what comes out from mine, I think. I think I'm the best kind of man. Because I can live with the woman, the female side of me, and I can live with the male side. And it doesn't conflict in the sense that, I'm torn and I feel like, I'm losing my mind, I have a problem and all this other stuff. This is why you have men who are dressing up at home all married. Because they didn't entertain their fantasies when they were younger. So they're not trying to live a lie. Besides, I think it's far more exciting to be the best of both than to be simply, one or the other. Because, I think most people appreciate the fact that I'm an absolutely ordinary looking man that can be this extraordinary looking woman. But I don't think I'm an ordinary looking man. I mean, I'm reasonably passable as a person, it's just that it takes a lot more to be a woman and you have more decorations, basically. But I think most people appreciate the fact that, here's one thing that becomes another thing and is becoming this other thing so beautifully. But I certainly don't want to become a woman because I just think, if I wanted to be a woman, I would want to be a natural woman, because I think of things in terms of naturalness.
My mother always taught us to do the best you can, be the best at whatever it is you're going to do, and I think that inspires me more than anything else. I mean, I like Josephine Baker, I like Naomi Campbell, I like Grace Jones, I like, Barbra Streisand, I like an awful lot of people like that, but, my mother's all, and the reason I think I like them because is because of that doing the best you can thing.
Well, I was born in a place that's now called Guyana, which is in South America, and most people don't know that, but it is. As kids, when we were growing up, we were always exposed to almost everything. We weren't very shy about sex. We weren't 3 or 4 and wanting to have sex or anything, but we weren't, it wasn't like everything was on the closed doors. Everyone messes around with, as kids, everyone messes around with their mother's clothes and their father's clothes. It's not because they want to be drag queens or they want to be women, it's because they want to be adults. I think it's been going for donkey's years. I don't think now there's a scene. I think now it's, because everyone's catching on to it. And what else is there for people to do? There's a recession on out there. And how can you enjoy life? Put on a carnival, because basically that's what it is. People are sexually repressed here. Because, I don't know why it is, but I actually do. It's not because they're not sexual or they're not sexy. Britain's got very sexy people, but no one ever approaches themselves, I think in a strange way it's because of all this restrictions. There's too many restrictions here that prevents people from exploring it, because like they want to close down and clean up Soho, and there's a district like Soho in every town or every country you go to. You know, but they want to clean down and clean up Soho. And because of that, and because they make such a big deal about everything, this to do with sex and pornography, that people think, you know, it's dirty and it's wrong. And therefore, you know, people see it as, you know, most of the time people see it as a freak show. They see being sexy or being sexual as something freaky, you know, something not to be mentioned, not to be touched, not to be played with, you know.
Two charities who've given a lot of great work, and they're going to be very grateful for all you people to make it worthwhile. Give it so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for that one.
We're like kind of close to each other.
Winston, the Kiki girls, all those wonderful people, they're all here doing it for free.
For one thing, you know, I've done some of my female friends up to take them out for a night out, and you can see they love it. But they're so scared of it. And it's being scared of yourself and scared of sexuality and scared of being perceived as, you know, as a very sexual person.
But I remember days when there were other clubs like Taboo and The Ascension and stuff like this. Everyone always, like Lee Bowery, Boy George, I mean, they were doing it. I think back then it was seen as something totally different, like, you know, the Blitz clubs and all those days, much well before my time. But those days, everyone was doing it then, and, you know, it wasn't so popular because there wasn't a recession and there wasn't, you know, people weren't looking for a way of, you know, having, what should I say, fun without having to spend an awful lot of money.
Thanks for coming. You all look sensational. Do you like my dress? You'll all recognize her. Enjoy it.
That's me seeing the glamorous side of it. I think, you know, putting the recession to drag, because I think, you know, it's a glamorous way of putting it, and I'm a glamorous person.
Here it comes. Glamour, Amanda Lear, Miss Amanda Lear.
I wouldn't do plastic surgery because I felt my looks were fading, you know, but I just think, you know, there's things that one might want to fix at some point. You know, I don't know what they might be, you know, I can't say, but if you know, what I might want to change, or, you know, I hope I won't want to change anything, but having said that, you don't know. But, you know, if it helps people to feel better about themselves, why not? Drag helps me to feel better about myself, so I do it. If I get bored with glamour, I get bored with dressing up. I wouldn't want to be, you know, not dressed up as lamb at the same time, i.e. knowing to myself that I'm getting much too old, and then still trying to do it. But when I get much older, maybe my style will change a little bit, if I still have to do that.
I would like to think when I'm 50, if I have to wear dresses because I want to, not because I have to. You know, it's a stepping stone.
Our first contestants are the supermodels.
But then at the same time, maybe I'll be educated on the topic enough then to open my own clinic, school for drag. Then all those guys out there who's always wanted to do it but didn't think they could come along and have little sessions parading up and down in the privacy.
Marilyn Monroe meets Diana Ross. Linda Evangelista on the cover of this month's Vogue. Elvis Presley. And Jean Harlow. Of course, no movie's perfect without the cigarette girls. Lana Turner, Michael Jackson and Madonna.
You know, I can stop doing this tomorrow. I didn't say I was gonna, but I could stop doing it tomorrow. But you know, why should I, you know, I'm not the sort of person that would do that you know, it's like selling out for myself. I enjoy doing this, so why should I give it up because someone else says that, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, you know? This is what I get my kick from. You know, it's something I enjoy doing, and I do it. You know, I don't play at doing it, I don't pretend I want to do it, I do it. I live in the real world, honey. You can't run around in a frock and be anything else but realistic.
Come on, girls, music, please. These are our winners. Give them a big round of applause. Show them that we appreciate them. Thank you.
But you see, there's many different faces to everybody's character. I just prefer to use all of mine, you know, as opposed to just shelving the ones that you don't think people are going to agree with. We can all do things that are not supposed to be sort of like normal for our sexes or our genders or whatever. And what's normal, you know? You know, in every man there's a woman, and I think vice versa.